What effect did, the events that transpired at the House yesterday have on unity amongst members? It would seem that there is a delicate line now between, the APC members and PDP members. Is that also coming to play?
No, I think far from it. We see the parties as vehicles for us to get into the House. When we get in there, partisanship is reduced to the barest minimum. And yesterday's...
Is that so?
Yeah, I'm coming, yeah. Yesterday's issue, sometimes, if you look at the parliaments world over, at some point, people will vote between party lines. Sometimes, sometimes, at very few occasions. But most times, people vote along interest lines, among convictions lines. And that's yesterday what happened, both PDP, LP, APC members were not happy. That why would it reduce, whatever it is, why will it reduce to the point that we are? We're getting to ground -0. And that shouldn't speak well. This is supposed to be the chambers where standards should be put down and where this is happening. If this happens today, sure, tomorrow you would enter the chambers and meet armed policemen seated on your chairs. So how would you function? Yeah, and don't forget that the hallmark of democracy is about the expression of people and their views. If you look at the National Assembly, the foyer, if you enter the entrance, what makes democracy different from military rule is that that entrance is a convergence point for protest. People from all over can come in there and protest, vent their anger, you listen to them, you go back and take stock. If there are issues that you can address almost immediately, you take on. If there are issues that you have to compare notes with an arm of government, you do. And that's what democracy is all about. World over, when you go to a Congress in Capitol Hill, you go enter. You have access to the place.
Are you sure that this decision by the House is not affected by the fracas at the gate?
No, far from it. I want to say, when we got in there, the Speaker, even in his opening remarks that he did before we went to the executive session, was appealing to members, sorry for what has happened. We believe that the House might be under siege, but all the same, we have a job to do here.
You said something about the president based on the Armed Forces Act, could bypass the National Assembly and still use the Armed Forces.
No, that's not bypassing the National Assembly. There are laws spelled out. There are laws spelled out for the operation of Mr. President. So it's not, he doesn't have to bypass us. It's a law, he's empowered. Because as president, you don't make him a lame duck president. He must have powers to be able to take certain decisions without recourse to anybody, but maybe to his advisors.
Would the National Assembly still not come back and attack the president for using the armed forces, as I said here, Section 8(3) of the Armed Forces Act, for the main purpose of maintaining and securing public safety and public order? Would the National Assembly not come back attacking him for doing that without recourse to the National Assembly? If he had decided to do that.
Let me tell you what is happening, or what happens with law. If, as under the Constitution or the law or any act, I'm empowered to do a thing, unless I abuse a process, that is when eyebrows will be raised. But if I'm acting within the confines of a law that empowers me to do certain actions, why would the National Assembly come after you? That wouldn't happen, because the man is empowered to do what he's supposed to do. So why would you go after him, except you want to turn him to a lame duck president?
Okay, no. So the House agreed that he can rely on Section 2172C to deploy the troops.
Yeah, we have told him. We said he can go, he can take it out. He can take on leverage on all those powers that give him. We can rely on those provisions that gives him power to be able to deploy and be able to maintain peace and good order in this country.
But then, we've had emergency rule for 18 months, and one of the lawmakers from that section, from that side of the country was quoted as saying that, yes, the civilians are being restricted, the insurgents have access, they're able to move around, even with the presence of the military and all of that. Now you're saying, let's just say you stand by a decision not to grant the extension, but the president can use his powers. Have you thought about collateral damage?
No, let me tell you.
Because at this time now, the civilians in that section of the country are not being restricted. They can move at will. Yes, with the presence of the military. And the insurgents who do not dress in any particular uniform.
No, but let me tell you something. They will still get to the root of the matter. We still get a solution. Just the days ahead would suggest all this that I'm saying. With the days ahead, this was granted yesterday, and of course we have adjourned the House from yesterday or today on up until 3rd of December. You would see what will happen, because the people staying there are human beings and they exactly understand the environment. And of course, the soldiers are doing a wonderful job. But at the same time too, when you are applying a particular method over and over again, as students of history, you need to change course within the limits of the powers around you.
Changing course.
And changing course, let me tell you.
No, changing course before the state of emergency. What you're asking to happen now is what was before the state of emergency was declared.
Can I tell you something? Was Hong and Amubi and Goza, were they in the hands of the insurgents before the emergency rule? That's the question I want to ask. I know there's a community called Marte that was where the insurgents were at some point before the emergency rule. But after when the emergency rule came in, what happened? Why are we losing more ground?
As of yesterday, I thought they said military said
No,
they had captured those areas.
But of course, the local community and of course are playing a very large role in this case. And of course, this would even give them even more opportunity to get in as much people who would be able to, because intelligence gathering, there's no rocket science about it. It's about the local people willing to. And if the local communities are willing to give information now willingly, and are even ready to even go and at least be of assistance to it means that everybody, because it's the case of getting over these insurgents, it's what they call it, it's a responsibility of everybody, citizens.
Right. Let's get your response on this before we wrap up. Kenneth from Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, says, to start with, the House of Rep members did not respect the Nigerian police by jumping into the House. They did not respect Nigeria as a whole. They did not respect the position they are as members of the House of Reps.
Yeah, he's entitled to his opinion, but like I told you, I have taken time to break down this melodrama, and what I mean. Members ordinarily don't go through that access all the time, or always. But I told you exactly what happened, and those who watch very closely will tell you that if you see, that's why it's not good to take a decision because of an individual. Okay, I don't want this man's face, let me take a decision. When you do that, it affects a whole lot of things, because a lot of things get out of control. When you have more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, people think differently and they react differently when there is an action that you don't have control over.
But you didn't jump over the fence, but you got into the
but we're
house.
products of different backgrounds. You know that. And different homes. And different psychological and genetical formation.
Is this something you would recommend? I mean, given us, I mean, assuming this circumstance, God forbid, were to play out again, is this something you'll recommend that lawmakers jump over the fence?
This is not planned. This is not planned. It's the spur of the moment. And psychologists will tell you that for every action, there's always a reaction. And those who think are scaling the fence could act differently.
Agreed that it was not planned. I'm simply saying that under, would you say that if this were to repeat itself, would you recommend that members of the House of Representatives, honorable members,
maybe they would do it rather differently, because sometimes when you are overwhelmed, you take certain actions that when you
it's only a thief that goes through the window.
Yeah?
It's only a thief that goes through the window.
No, in this case, this is a broad daylight. They're not thieves. Maybe their money is going to be stolen.
All right, thank you for coming on this.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Zachary Mohammed is the Chairman, House of Reps Committee on Media and Public Affairs, speaking to us about what transpired in the National Assembly and House of Reps yesterday. We'll be back in just a moment. Join us again.